Hello, fellow Fumblers, and welcome to another episode of the Fumblers Show, the podcast where a few friends fumble through your favorite films. Today we are reviewing 12 Angry Men, a movie released in 1957 and directed by Sidney Lumet. Without further ado, my name's Adrian.
I'm Taryn.
Hey, what's up? It's James. Hi,
The
guys.
three of us today.
What up?
Three angry men.
Three angry men.
Very upset today.
I'm angry.
No.
This is
I'm in a good mood.
me too. This is the oldest movie we've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah, by like
Wow.
7
Quite a few years. Because what was the other? 1964 was
Harakiri, yeah.
Harakiri, right?
Huh. That's nuts. This feels newer than Harakiri.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Well, because
Maybe?
Harakiri is like a period.
That's true.
Piece,
Maybe
right?
that's what it is.
So
Ah.
it's like supposed to feel older.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
all of it feels like a period piece when it's that far.
Yeah.
Gone.
Cheers, brothers. I don't know if you guys are shooting.
Oh
anything,
yeah,
but
cheers.
Oh,
I'll
no.
cheers a drink to you. I got me a claw here.
I got
Oh,
some good old high
double
quality H2O.
Oh,
Double white,
those
triple
good.
berry.
Yeah, dude. Pretty good.
Ah. Cheers.
Cheers.
So had you guys seen this before?
No.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I feel like I have.
Hmm.
Probably in one of my classes, my paralegal studies classes.
Oh.
That would make a lot of sense.
I'm pretty sure I watched it before.
It seems like it would make sense to watch it in a class like that, or even just a psychology class, because there's
Right.
a lot going on in that aspect. But I watched this in Film Crit, which I feel like I've talked about a lot on
Yeah, I
the
was
show.
gonna say.
Because
Probably running out of them now, right?
But it's kind of crazy. Like there's still a few that we hadn't done, like Singing in the Rain and
We could do that. We could do that
yeah,
next.
like some of the older ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I remember being really interested in this movie. Like especially, I was a senior in high school, like really young, but still able to appreciate like a movie this old,
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy because I was looking at, I guess it was IMDb. They have like a list of like the highest rated movies on their site,
Mhm.
and this is number 5 of all time.
Are you
Yeah,
number 5 of all time?
yeah, dude.
Holy shit.
I was like, how have I not like I've obviously heard of it, but I was like, I feel like I've not heard that much about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy. James,
I'm
I was
trying to
saying
think
this movie is number 5 on IMDb's highest rated movies of all time.
Oh wow.
That's crazy.
Of all time.
What were you gonna say?
Number
James?
1 is what?
Shawshank Redemption, I think.
Oh wow. Number 2 is Godfather.
Yeah, and then 3 is Godfather 2, I think.
Are you serious? That's number 2 and 3. That's hilarious.
Huh.
Something like that.
That's
I don't know.
crazy. Yeah. Huh. Sorry, my dog barked right when you.
Good.
Yeah. I don't know what you guys said, but yeah.
What were you
I
gonna say,
agree.
Adrian? You were gonna say something.
Oh, I already lost the train of thought there. But no, so yeah, I was saying like as a senior in high school, I was still like able to appreciate this movie. And then watching it again today, I still really enjoyed it. Like it's just a really good story, but it's so, it's so simple as far as the setting. It's literally 100% of it takes place in one room.
Yeah.
Or maybe
What
99%.
is
I
it,
think
like-
there's the
I think I saw 3 minutes of the whole movie is not in that room.
yeah,
Crazy.
which is kind of
Wow.
insane. And it's not a
And
long
that
movie.
feels even 3 minutes feels longer than what it is. I don't know. I guess 3 minutes is it's really short. Yeah.
Because that's only the they go outside of the courthouse at the end.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then in the beginning they're like in the actual, like not in the juror room or whatever.
Yeah.
Jury room. Yeah, no, but I don't know. It makes a lot of sense that it's rated so highly. And it's crazy because like it is very, very popular in pop culture. Like you hear it referenced a lot,
Yeah.
I think for good reason.
There's so many movies that have 12 in it that I just get them all confused because I've never seen any of them.
Are there?
It's
What
like
are the
12
other?
monkeys, 12 this and that. I don't know. There's a lot. It feels like there's a lot. Maybe there isn't.
12 years a slave.
Yeah, 12,
Um,
12 this, 12 that.
Oh, big number.
Have you guys ever been to a play before?
Yeah.
Actually, at CNM, I went to like a small one. That's about it.
Did this like give you vibes of theater? Any of
Yeah.
you guys?
Not
It
really.
Like
definitely
just
did.
like one room, and then like as people have their lines, like they come to the focal point, like
Mhm.
that
Damn.
very first like long shot. Did you see that it was all taken in one take, and like
Yes. When
the
they're like
camera
getting
moves
settled and
around?
shit.
Yeah,
It's so
fucking
Dude,
cool.
the
beautiful.
camera work was, like, insanely impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, for the time, even the opening scene where they're just walking you through the court building,
yeah,
like, and you see everyone just doing their little parts, like, I was like, "This is, like,
yeah,
really good cinematography."
Yeah.
Like, it's
yeah.
surprisingly good.
And like the way it felt for me was like I was watching a play, because like in a play, like everybody's still doing like their random little things in the
Right,
background,
yeah.
like side
Sweeping the
conversations that,
floor and yeah,
yes,
just
and
random.
then like they move up to like the focal point and have like their loud conversation that everybody needs to hear, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know, this was like, it felt like a good balance between two mediums like coming together. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
just felt interesting.
It's like a
It
play, but
was,
you could actually see what was going
yeah,
on up close.
yeah,
That's really cool.
yeah,
I didn't think about that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
And it makes a lot of sense for them to do it that way because I mean this is, still the 50s, like film hasn't been around that long. I mean, if you think about it today in the grand scheme of things, like in the grand scheme of media or like of just like entertainment, like plays have been around for way longer than movies have been so far. So like
Yeah.
yeah,
we're still like really in its infancy. And in the 50s it was like yeah, things were just still a play but you were recording it on film.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they, had that a lot. But that gets into also like the whole feel of the play. The acting definitely felt that way too. Like
yeah,
the monologues were delivered in like a very theatrical kind of way, but
yeah.
they were like really strong. I loved the
Oh
acting.
I
yeah,
Did you
dude.
I
guys think it was cheesier at all or
there was points
Mm,
where it was cheesy, but I don't know. For some reason, I got sucked in immediately because these people. I don't know. I think when you think about black and white movies, you think everyone's like, "Hey,
yeah.
everyone's got to talk."
What are
Like
you, a wise guy?
some of
they
them
Yeah.
did
do
kind
talk
of
like
talk
that.
a
Yeah.
little
Right.
bit, but they felt like regular ass people. I was like,
Yeah.
damn,
Exactly.
nothing has changed. Everyone wants to go see the Yanks. They want to go to the garden. Like I was like, these are like
Yeah.
regular blokes. Like they're regular people. And that's
Yeah.
what was like surprising for me. Like I'm like, wow. When you think back, you think that everyone's like all proper and stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like the
Even though
only
it's not that far ago, but like
yeah.
I don't know, maybe my perception of time is just
Yeah.
all skewed,
Yeah.
right?
The only thing that I felt was like cheesy, I guess, is just what you're saying, like the old timey speak when they would like kind of threaten each other and talk shit. It was just like,
Yeah.
hey buddy,
Yeah.
what are you trying to like it was just so
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
not
Where do you
intimidating at
get
all.
off? Yeah, where do
Yeah.
you get off
But
What are
talking
like
you
that's
like
getting
just
so
the
that?
hot
time.
about?
Yeah, yeah.
But it wasn't that
But
bad.
like I
Like it
know
was,
it's the time, so I'm not gonna
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah,
exactly, and
yeah.
it's not a testament to, like, bad acting, it's just like, yeah,
No,
that was
yeah.
just a weird time
Yeah,
yeah,
where
exactly.
people talked a lot differently than we do today,
Yeah.
yeah,
but, man, yeah, like, the acting, like, completely because that's, like, what you can really depend on back then is the story and the acting and the camera work, but, like, there was no, I don't know, things just are a lot different now, and, like, we can go so many different places, we can get so many, like, other, like, really crazy shots, be really, like, ambitious with these things, and that I've talked about this before, that felt, like, really prevalent in the early 2000s, like, in the aughts, where it was like, "Oh, like, let's see what kinda crazy camera special effects shit we can do,"
Hmm.
and it was, like, less about the story, but now today, it definitely feels like we're going back to, like, "No, the story is really important now too." Like, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get into the story. 12 Angry Men, one juror, um, kind of and that I think what I love about it is he's not just like, nope, he's like definitely not guilty and here's why. He's just like, I just don't know. And that's kind of the whole point of this is beyond a reasonable doubt. And there's not, there's reasonable doubt that maybe he didn't do it. And he kind of just throws that out there and then sits back and lets it kind of stew.
Hmm. Yeah, because they all walk in like, oh yeah, he's guilty. Like fuck it, let's get out of here,
Right.
bro. Let's go to the game. Let's
yeah,
go do this and that. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And that's like, I don't know. Have you ever like known anybody who had to do jury duty? And it's like the same exact thing. They're like, fuck, I don't want to do it.
Mhm.
Like I just don't want to do it. I want to do my regular shit. Like I don't got time for this. And it's like kind of interesting to see how like it's the same. It's the same as it was then. It's the same now.
Have you guys ever been
Yeah.
asked to be on a
Uh-uh.
jury?
No,
I
no.
haven't either. Because I've heard like you have to go through like interview processes and stuff, right? Where like you don't
Yeah.
just automatically like boom, you're on the jury.
Oh, I feel
Yeah.
like
Like
I've heard that. It's like, oh, I know that guy. Just saying that so they could get out of
yeah,
it.
or
Yeah,
like
yeah. People
you
saying,
see it
"Oh,
in
I'm racist," this and
yeah, I was
that.
gonna say
Yeah,
you see in movies all the time, like just say something racist or like do some weird, and then they
yeah,
won't ask you to be on it. But I don't know. For me, maybe I'm just weird. Like I would be actually pretty excited to be on a jury. Like
yeah,
I think it would be just an experience to really, I don't know, to take in our civic
yeah.
duty.
I don't think I would get chosen because I worked in like corrections and stuff like that. I
Mm.
think they would
Does
think that
that like take you out
have.
of that?
I think they would think that I would have bias. I would
Hmm.
assume. Yeah. Even though I would do it, but I don't
Yeah.
think I would be picked.
Interesting.
But that's the thing
Yeah.
too, is like most of them, most cases aren't like that exciting, I would imagine.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
probably like over like a like fender bender or some shit. Like
Yeah, they say that too. It's like, oh wow, we got a murder, not some fucking burglary or
Yeah.
petty
Yeah.
crime.
yeah, something boring.
But yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like the guy says, he's like, it beats going to work. I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go to jury duty. I don't want to go there.
Yeah, yeah. I guess there's both. That's what was cool about this movie was that every character felt like their own person. They all had their
Yeah,
own
dude.
motivations, and like they didn't get. Not a lot of them got a lot of lines, but like they were so distinctively different.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it felt very real. Like you
That's the
have
best part of it, I
the
think.
one guy that's like lives in the slums. You have the one freak that doesn't sweat. That freaking robot dude. You have the old
The freak that
man.
doesn't sweat.
Foreign
Yeah,
guy.
you have the old man. You have the racist guy. You have the foreman. Like they're all like
Hmm.
so very uniquely different. Like
The
I
foreigner,
was like,
right?
how did
He's
they
from
Yeah.
do it?
Europe.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
dude.
Italian or something. Like
12
they were,
Yeah.
characters. None of them are named, and you know all of them so well.
yeah,
It's so
yeah. I mean,
cool.
you might not know their numbers, but like you can remember them just by
Yeah,
like describing them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like oh, dude, the freaking like car salesman advertisement dude.
Yeah.
So fucking what a weird ass character. Like, and he was even like making fun of like how people who do advertisements say weird shit, and then he started doing it, and
He
everyone was
starts
just
doing
like,
it, yeah.
it was just like,
I
what?
got like
What did he say?
big John Hamm vibes from that guy,
Oh
like
yeah, kind
the
of,
like
yeah.
Mad Men kind of.
Huh.
Yeah, no, it's like very impressive how every character is so distinct, and like they definitely it was definitely like intentional that none of them have names. Like it's just juror 1 through 12.
Yeah,
And like that, I love those intentions. Like I also read that with the camera work in the beginning, like they had most of the shots above them, kind of like further away with a wide angle.
yeah,
And as it kind of progressed, it gets a little bit more like so you're on the eye level. And then towards the end of the movie, almost everything is like close-ups. Like every
yeah,
monologue is like a really intense close-up. Or even when two people are just like listening to a monologue, it's a big close-up on them and it's like lowered and it's
yeah,
like to really encapsulate the like claustrophobia of like
yeah,
being locked in that room. And the other techniques that they do where like you feel hot, like because everyone
yeah,
in there is so fucking hot. They're wearing these 1950s suits, like jackets. Why the
Sweating.
fuck did they ever do that? But
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah, they're just sweating. The fan doesn't work. Like they're pulling the windows open. It's just it really just like brings you into being in that room with them, which
Yeah.
like
yeah,
worked so well.
yeah. Do you know what other movie did the same exact thing?
Do the right
What
thing.
movie?
Do the right thing,
Yeah, once they were
where the
like
heat,
the
the
hottest day
heat
of the
takes
year.
over.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which are both like, I guess the underlying story is like this racial injustice kind of story,
Like
right?
class differences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 The heat is about like, what is it about? Yeah, I guess just the heat
Just
between,
tension.
yeah, the
Yeah.
tension
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
racial conflict, which is interesting. This is what 40 years before Spike Lee's,
Or
Yeah.
yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. It's not to say that like this movie didn't like end racism, which is crazy because it probably got a lot of fucking flack at the time. I don't really know. Do any of you guys know
12 Angry Men.
how this was like generally received?
It got nominated for Oscars, so I don't know if that.
It
I
did?
feel like probably well. I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Huh.
don't know a lot of movies that were happening during that time.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I all I saw was that it wasn't really successful in the box office because at that point they were going up against movies in Technicolor, so
Mm.
nobody was really trying to watch
Black and
drama,
white.
black and white drama.
Yeah, I saw
So
it made like no money in the box office, but rentals, I guess, popped
Well,
off.
dude, the tickets were like 5 cents a piece. I mean, you know, like,
Yeah,
how much money can you make? Yeah,
yeah,
that does
that's
make
interesting.
sense though. Well, I mean, but it's, you know, past the test of time. Like we're, you know, mid-20s talking about a movie that's 60 years old, like over 60 years old. So
mid-20s. We're all late 20s,
Dude,
dude.
70 almost.
I'm still.
Oh my
Oh
god.
shit! I can't say mid-20s anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Late
Sad.
20s.
Late.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
he's
I-
almost 70 years old. That is fucking my head.
Yeah. Yeah, because you think 2000 is not that long ago, and you're like, oh, that's 21 years, 22 years ago almost.
Yeah, I'm like 50 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Dude, like, this is a tangent, but people born after 2000, it's like, what the fuck? Like,
Where do you get off, pal?
like what? And they're just like adults, like functioning in society now. They're like 22 years old. You're like, how? You weren't even born.
Fuck.
Fucking
Yeah.
Zoomers, dude. They don't even remember 9/11. That's what blows
That's
my
crazy.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude. They
What
don't
was it
even know.
like? You're just like, what? What do you mean?
They don't even know.
Oh god, that is.
They were born by the internet. We thought we were. They actually were.
Oh god, yeah. Can you
Crazy.
imagine raising a kid?
We definitely had computers in classruons, but
Alonzo,
well, not
that's
in
how I feel
classrooms.
about
But
people
computer
born in
lab.
the 90s. So he hates us
People
while
born
we
in the
hate
90s. Dude, but that's a whole nother millennia, man. Like, it's a lot. Yeah. So to get back into the movie, I think like what one of the most interesting things was like how well thought out the flaws in the case were presented, and like there was so many different, because the movie could have been 2.5 hours long, or 2 hours long even, and you could have had a 30-minute court scene, you know, where like they go over every little detail that was went over, that the juries went over, like, you know, after the
Yeah.
fact. But they didn't do that. They were just like, all right, this 18-year-old kid is putting on trial for murdering his father, and if he's guilty, he gets a death penalty. Decide. And they don't give any details of the case, but you just start unraveling them, and it was like just really good storytelling. How you feel like you weren't there to hear the trial, but you know every detail, that because they go over it so well, and they find these little nooks and crannies that they can kind of latch onto
Yeah.
and like explore more.
I love learning about all the details. It'd be like, oh, he went to the movies at this time. And they're like, no, it was this time. Like, yeah, it was that time. And they like, you know, like remember, and you're like, okay, that's right. Like you just get that part of it and you just keep
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I love shit like this, dude. Like where it's like super clever, like, oh, but she wasn't wearing her glasses, so how could she see? Blah blah blah. Like if you
See,
like,
that's where I
Yeah.
was like, that's where I was a little like, okay, would you have noticed the marks on somebody's face? Do you
So
think
I-
you would have really noticed that?
if they were
I
like
don't think-
pretty fucking deep, maybe I don't
Dude,
know.
mine-
maybe. Let me see.
Let's ask our viewers. Freaking like,
Oh wow.
a lot of times I don't wear my glasses because there's like a bad glare,
look at mine.
but
You could even see mine, and I don't even wear mine that bad. Okay.
you could see mine pretty bad.
I can't see without my glasses, so you gotta tell me.
Looking at his nose, like all close, he can't even see.
No, but also I think like, what
just
did they
answered my
point
own
out that she like that she rubbed her nose at all, or maybe that was just
Yeah.
the guy who rubbed
Oh, the
his
guy,
nose.
yeah. Because I
He
think
did
they
it,
said that
and
she did
she
too.
also did it.
Yeah, and had the marks.
But, like,
So like,
dude,
I don't know, you could pick up on
yeah,
something
little
that.
shit like that,
Yeah.
and like
Okay.
putting it together like that, dude. I don't know. It just like
Okay.
gets me riled up. I'm like, that's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I just needed to talk it out because at first I was like, you're how far is the jury sitting away from the stand? Like, Like,
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
don't know.
would you really
Well, no,
want to
'cause one of
see that?
them-
I don't know. Maybe her testimony was probably long.
It's so funny. We're doing right now what they did in the movie. Like, no, one of them, because one of them did
Why do
say
you
like,
get off?
what are you getting so hot about? One of them did say that he was like, I was closest to her. I did definitely see that she had those marks.
Oh, okay.
None of
okay.
them noticed though, and that's the main jury who like brings up who like says not guilty first. He's like, we're 12 people, like there was all these other people, and only one of us noticed it. So like obviously, you know, it was something that could slip by, you know, it could slip by like a lawyer and stuff. So
Yeah, that was something interesting
easy to
too.
miss.
Like, I think it was actually about that. It was like someone else would just be like, "Oh, I did notice that," but it's like, did you? I don't know. It's like you probably did it, but you're just like putting that
Yeah.
into your own mind, kind of thing. So it's like
So
makes
what
it
did
that
you
much more
guys-
interesting.
What did you guys feel about the old man calling out the other old man, being like, "Oh, he's never done nothing in his life, so this is like his
Yeah.
moment of like saving the day." What did you guys? That felt like
That hurt
so.
my soul.
That felt so weird. I was like, "Damn, this man's passing mad judgment on the homie." Like,
Because
Yeah.
he is that guy, bro.
Yeah, it's
that's
weird.
what I
And
was wondering. Like, I was
maybe
like,
he's
"It does."
speaking from experience.
I was like, totally expecting him to be like, "I know because I am that man," and I was, but he never said it. Like, and that's what I was kind of waiting for. But I was just like, "Damn, that's a lot of judgment to pass."
I guess I just assumed that he was like,
I don't know.
I'm that guy, pal, kind of thing.
Yeah, and this is my time to shine.
Yeah. Oh shit.
This is my quotable moment now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
Interesting.
Hmm.
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 I think my favorite gotcha kind of moment was when he's like, it's the first guy who says not guilty, and then the last guy who says not guilty, like where they're getting into it, and he's just like they have to hold him back, and he's like, I'll kill him,
Yep.
and he just looks at him, he's like, you're not really gonna kill
Oh,
him. You don't really mean
his
that you're gonna
face,
kill
dude.
him.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
like, I
That-
got this, bitch.
I
Dude, he
remember like
pushes him, man. He
watching
freaking
that-
pushes those buttons.
I remember that scene like 10 years later, like watching that in film credit. I remember I was like, damn, we fucking got him. Like, let's
Dude.
go. I was like,
And
so
then
hyped.
right after, the guy was like, "Oh, he was just baiting me. He was baiting me." And then the guy's just like,
Yeah,
"Well,
he's
he
like,
fucking worked or whatever."
He
I was
did,
like,
he did a
"Damn."
damn good job.
yeah, so good.
Another interesting thing was like that. So the foreman at the beginning, I couldn't remember if like the foreman was there, who was like a 13th person or something. I had to like count the people if he was actually running it or if he was just a
He was a
person
part
on
of
the
it,
jury.
right?
He was a
Yeah.
part of it. But it's interesting that his opinion is never really asked. Like, no one asks like, why do you think he's guilty or why do you think he's not guilty? He just says like, oh, he's guilty at the beginning, and he's never questioned about it. And it's kind of like he's in that role of authority almost because he's sitting at the end of the table, he's taking charge. So his opinion isn't really questioned ever. It's not brought into question, which is like an interesting kind of thing. And all 11 people are, but him.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then later on, he's like, he goes to not guilty, but then he kind of stops leading the show. Like halfway through the film, he's like, they can handle it. Like it's weird. He kind of just
Well,
falls off.
He just kind of, he's like, "Well, if you think I'm doing a bad job, you do it." And then one guy's just like, "Nah,
It's like,
nah,
it's not a big deal. Come on, do it. Go
you're
sit at
doing
the top.
good." Like,
Yeah.
it's like the dialogue there is like so funny because it's like it's pretty real. Like,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
feel like if this happened in Albuquerque, there would actually be fights. Like there would be like,
Oh man,
people would be getting, "Let me kill him." They probably would. Yeah, there you go.
they might actually kill him though. Like that's
Jesus.
yeah. So I think like just the point, and I wonder if that's how it was in the 50s, and like maybe that's how it is today. So like it gets really complex, especially like within the past couple of years, things have been very polarizing. Like you're on this side or that side, and like there's not a whole lot of room to just kind of be in the
Talk
middle.
about it, or even
Yeah, and like, and I think when you think about it from like when you're looking from the outside in, like really far away, you're like, yeah, everything's so polarizing. But like these really tight groups, like 12 people, I wonder if you had 12 people today who were like of different backgrounds, of different political ideologies, like if they could go into this thing and like kind of leave that behind. Because I think like we would say no, right? We would just say no, there's no way.
chance.
But it's because we're like looking at it from like, 1,000 miles away. Like, yeah, the people on this side are stuck in their ways. The people on this side are stuck in their ways. But
Yeah,
like,
wait,
I don't
Terry,
know. It gives me some hope.
you're saying people in the 50s would do a better chance than people today at like
Yes.
discerning?
Yeah.
Well, the
Really?
50s were like,
No way. No way.
I mean, the 50s, they were like openly racist people. Like, there's
Yeah.
not people today. Even racist
Yeah,
people today
everyone was
aren't
racist
openly
back then.
racist.
Only a
Like
lot of people
there
are
were
now.
they were just coming off of like the what do you call it?
Great
Red
Depression?
fever? What do you call that?
Oh, Red Scare.
Red Scare shit.
Oh,
McCarthyism. Like
yeah.
that was
They were
like
united at that point. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I don't
I'm
know.
just kidding.
I don't know. I would be interested to see. And like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Um,
like big profile cases. I'm sure like there's a like because didn't the jury work where the prosecution side picks six and then the defendant side picks six, right?
What do you mean pick someone? Like out of a group or something?
They
Yeah.
like do interviews and they pick like
Just like
they
I was
pick a
saying, I
jury.
wouldn't get picked because they wouldn't want me to, since I've like worked
Or is it
in
5
the,
and 5 and then the judge? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not like they're interviewed and then picked, right? Like,
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea how
isn't that
any
how
of
it
this
works?
works.
yeah.
James, you went to law school. Tell me.
You didn't go to law
Or
school.
or like criminal justice.
Yeah.
Close enough. Just
So
kidding.
like I don't actually really remember, but the prosecutors or the defenders do get to pick. So usually what they pick is like a little old lady, so that way she
Right.
she sees that guy on the stand. It's like, oh, it's like mijito. He would never do
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
wrong. Like they always do that shit. But yeah, what the hell was I saying? Oh, I was gonna mention. So your question about like how would this be today? So in
Yeah.
one of my paralegal classes, we actually watched a documentary of a hung jury. They were hung jury. No jokes.
You had to.
Okay, hung jury. The hell am I saying? Okay.
Watch the
Anyway,
documentary.
we watched the documentary and it was about this guy who was schizophrenic and he was a homeless man and he basically I think shoplifted from a store
Allegedly.
allegedly
Allegedly.
shoplifted and basically half of the jury was saying, well, okay, he's schizophrenic, he's not in his right mindset, he doesn't really know what he's doing, he should be getting medical help instead of being put back into the system.
Yeah.
And there was a few people on the jury that were just like, no, it's cut and dry. He fucking stole something, he goes to jail. This is like the proof of it.
Mhm.
And so I think they ended up going the other way where he didn't get let off, but I think he got like some kind of
A
medical
lesser charge or something, or
charge,
Wow.
something like that. So
That's
like
cool.
yeah, and it was relatively new, probably like 2000 or something like that. So I probably watched it like 10 years ago. Damn.
We're getting into time a lot on this.
I was just like shit 10 years ago.
Dude, I wonder
when
how
I was
often that
in
happens.
college.
That's actually cool. Fuck.
Yeah. So like, and that's what's interesting about the law is that they say that it's a living, breathable document, that it's always up for interpretation.
Right.
I don't know.
That's what's
I don't know
crazy,
if
like-
I believe that. I mean,
It's like
you
the same 70 years ago, right?
Yeah, but like some people, but I think the reason why it's living and breathable is because it's not the law that changes, it's people's mindsets that change.
Okay.
And that's why it is continually evolving. So like I don't know. It's interesting to think
If you
about.
think about like the things the things that we hear all the time about like court cases, like innocent until proven guilty, right? Like that's a big one that everyone's heard multiple times.
Yeah.
Or beyond a reasonable doubt is something that we hear a lot too. And like even the word reasonable is such a subjective word,
Yeah.
right? Like what's reasonable to one person is not reasonable to another. How many White Claws we've had in the past 6 months is reasonable to us maybe, but is really probably an unreasonable number. Like if we're being honest, you know
Cheers,
what I mean?
brother.
Like, cheers to that. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Like it's so much is up for interpretation. I don't know.
Yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
But and then that's the other thing too, like innocent until proven guilty,
yeah.
which like doesn't feel like the case anymore. I don't know. I feel like a
Even
lot of
yeah,
times
even in this
people are
movie,
guilty
it's
and you
not
have to,
proven, and it happens. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah. Depends on like the severity of the case and people hear about the case. It's like, how do you get a fair trial when your face is on every news outlet in the
Mhm.
world?
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I don't know. It's just different. It's got to be harder today than back then, I think,
Mhm.
Oh
because
yeah,
there's
because everything's
so many
so
different factors now.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Maybe.
can
Aren't you when
watch
you're
it
on a
from anywhere.
jury? Yeah, when you're on
Usually.
a jury, don't you have to like isolate yourself from like everyone? Like you have to be in a hotel, I think, and like you don't have
Yeah.
access to like social media and stuff. I'm pretty
So
sure.
Oh,
like
really?
the OJ trial took
Yeah,
like 6 months or something like that.
and people
And
were
those
just gone from
people,
their families for
they
fucking
were gone for
Jeez.
6 months, like locked
hotels,
in their
probably.
Dude, that's what I was
hotels.
wondering about this movie because the guy, the main guy that is like saying not guilty, or whatever, he's like, I
Yeah.
went down to the store and got this knife. Like, well, I was like,
Yeah, and
can
that's
you
what I
do
was.
that? Like, that
Well,
seems weird,
Yeah,
right?
no, you can't. So like this, I think they said the trial went on. What did they say? Like we've been at it for 6 days or something. Like not the them deciding guilty or not guilty, but just the trial.
Yeah.
And so I did read. Actually, I wonder if I have it up here. Um,
So it's definitely
yeah. Okay.
not like
So
that anymore, right?
here it says, if you've ever sat on a jury, then you know, as a juror, you're not allowed to do things that Henry Fonda's character did. Visit the crime scene, buy a weapon identical to the murder weapon, and bring it to the jury room. As a juror, you can only base your verdict on the facts presented in the courtroom by attorneys. This character's actions by the 2020s now makes the film feel more like a cold case review and a police procedural and/or legal drama where the case was potentially flawed and causes intense feelings in the team.
Mm.
So like yeah, you definitely couldn't do that. But it made for great
Oh, yeah.
storytelling.
drama.
You know,
Yeah,
the knife, dude, like the knife
yeah,
on the table was
yeah,
just like
Dude, the poster for this movie
damn.
is so sick. Just the knife in the middle. Oh, I love it.
Oh nice. I'm sure I've seen it.
dude. Why do movie posters suck ass these days?
Because they gotta get
What
every face on the
They
fucking
don't.
poster, dude. It sucks.
Dude, that's what I'm saying about freaking
the,
Malignant, man. That was the coolest movie
yeah,
poster I've seen in
It's
years.
the
true.
new Matrix poster sucks
Yeah,
ass.
because they have to have the people on it. It's
Fucking
so bad.
sucks.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's
Sorry,
annoying.
just mad.
But back
It's
then it
okay.
was like, here, we don't, or just draw something. You know what I mean? It's so cool.
Do you guys know a lot about the OJ case?
I
No, not at all.
don't actually.
There's a really
School
good
us, dude.
documentary.
Oh, on Netflix,
Um,
right?
not I don't know if it's the
There's a
same one I
few.
watched
There's a few,
in
yeah.
school, but
Yeah, a lot of people would probably
yeah, there's probably a million because it's such a like interesting case. Just because it was like one of those first ones where like this is a famous person, everybody knows this guy.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all over the news. Like it's like they had to go to a different county to find like a bunch of random people who never even heard of this happening. Like that's
Oh,
like
wow.
Really?
you can't be on the jury if you saw it on the news. Like if you heard about it, you can't be on the
Wow.
jury because you're
Because you're
biased.
already biased, yeah.
So they had to go to a different county, maybe even a different state. I don't remember, but
Dude.
they have to find people who've never heard of O.J. Simpson. They never heard that he killed his wife. All this stuff, and then they
Allegedly killed his wife.
allegedly, and then they locked them up for like fucking 6 months, and it was just like brutal torture for them. So like it was a lot of crazy games, a lot
Dude,
of crazy
that's
games,
Is that
a
even
lot of
possible now? To
I don't
find
know.
that many
I'm
people that
sure.
haven't heard shit? Like, eventually that's not gonna be
Oh yeah.
possible, right?
You'd have to go to like some little town to find some people, like old people. I don't know, like
Some Amish people that don't have internet to not see this shit?
I
Yeah.
know, right? It's just
yeah,
our juries are all Amish people from this point going forward.
like it's very interesting, and they like the prosecutors and the defendant lawyers. They did some like funny ass shit where, so like they found the gloves that he supposedly killed his wife with, and he has like diabetes or something, and so they let him try on the gloves on the stand, and you're
Mhm.
never ever supposed to like give actual like evidence to the person you're trying to convict because
Oh, shit.
they can destroy it even
Tamper
if
it
it's
or
on this, yeah,
something?
tamper with it. And that's
Yeah.
basically what they did. He had like diabetes, so his hands would swell, and
They didn't
so
Oh.
fit.
they made him not take
Oh,
his meds, so his hands were all fucking puffy and he couldn't fit in his gloves.
No way.
damn.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Dude, it's I don't know whether you believe it or not. I'm pretty sure he did it. There was a lot of really shitty things that happened. Like the whole like chain of custody, which is basically how the police gather all the evidence and put it into a system. Like it got all screwy. Some guy took like some blood samples home for one night, so it was like,
What?
well, he
What the
could
hell are
have.
you doing with them at home?
Yeah, like that's where the reasonable doubt came in. It was like, well, this could totally be fake.
Oh,
He could have.
that's
This is
crazy.
like planted evidence, and that's how they created that reasonable doubt because it was fucked from the beginning. The police did a shitty job. The prosecutors did a shitty job. They fucking like kept those all the jury hostage for so many months. Like it was just dragged
Yeah.
out, dude. And so they let him go. It's
Dude,
crazy,
like,
crazy,
it's
dude.
so crazy that he lives such a well, it's I guess it's hard to call it a normal life, but he's just not in prison, like,
I
you see him
isn't
on
he?
Twitter all the time.
I thought he
What?
was in jail for robbing somebody who had a bunch of his memorabilia. That's such a weird way to say
Really?
it. Yeah,
I'm looking it up.
He's in jail right now? No
I
way
think
OJ's in jail right now.
I think he's in jail,
Dude, I
dude.
feel like I see on Twitter all the time where like or I've seen this video where some girl walks up to him on the street like, "Oh, can I shake your hand?" And then he shakes her hand and she's like, "I've never shaken hands with a murderer before." And it's just like fucking
So he
ice
was
cold.
released in 2017.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he did go to jail. I
He
don't
did
know
go
if
to
that was
jail.
for
Yeah, he
what.
like
But like on a completely unrelated case.
Yeah,
completely
yeah, yeah, yeah,
unrelated
yeah.
case. Yeah, somebody had a bunch of his like high school or college football memorabilia, and he wanted it back, and then he ended up like strong arming them or some crazy shit, and yeah, went to jail
Wow.
for that. That's
Wow.
crazy, man.
I
Crazy.
mean, like the audacity though to write a book after it called If I Did It.
Ugh.
Like
Just
that's
cash out.
insane.
What a bitch.
Like imagine monetizing the murder of your own wife. Like that's
And if he
insane.
did it,
Even if he didn't do it, like to still
yeah.
write that book. Like
That
what
makes me
the
feel like
fuck?
he did it more because why would you fucking do that if he did it? I don't know. You're a piece of
Yeah.
shit.
But like to take it back to the movie, like
It's nuts.
we weren't in the jury, for the OJ case. Like I wonder how that went down. Like if like all like 11 people were like, this motherfucker did it, like
Yeah.
100%. And there's one guy just like, I don't know. Like.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
mean,
it's
Maybe
just like,
not.
those prosecutors just did, or the defendant, they just did like a crazy ass job. Like they just created that doubt. Just
yeah,
I can't imagine having that job. Fuck that.
like a prosecutor.
Like defending OJ Simpson or like
Oh,
someone like
no.
something like that where you're just
Anyone,
like
dude, like Casey Anthony, that was
that's
another
the
huge
job you
case.
want though.
I know,
Casey
but
Anthony
like
doesn't have money.
just
OJ
like
has money. He's gonna pay you
morally,
at least.
I can't imagine having
Yeah,
to do that.
how do you sleep at night?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
There's another great movie. It's called Law Abiding Citizen with what's his name? Gerard Butler?
That's a guy.
Is that his name?
That's a
Yeah.
guy.
Dude, that movie is fucking really good. It's about like a court case where basically like this Gerard Butler's family dies, like gets murdered by these people, and um, oh, what is his name? Is it Jamie? I think it's Jamie Foxx is like the defense attorney against the murderer, and like all of this crazy shit happens. But it's like, yeah, how do you sleep at night, like defending people that like? A lot of times, like the defense knows that the motherfucker did it for the most part, and they're just like, nope, we're gonna get him off.
Yeah, that's insane.
Let me see.
Goddamn.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx and Gerard Butler.
Mm.
Good movie.
Yeah. But how do you sleep at night? So I asked there was a defense attorney that came and talked to one of our classes, and I asked him that question, like, how does it feel? How does it feel to defend someone who's obviously very guilty? And he basically said, well, it's that innocent until proven guilty.
Hmm.
And he's just like, well, if you are able to poke holes in the story and just present the facts as they are, if there's any negligence by the police,
Yeah.
anything like that, somebody shouldn't go to jail for those reasons. You have to follow the rules, and and having adequate representation is part of the rules.
Yeah.
Some,
And like just our right as Americans, the right to a fair trial.
yeah.
Like if no one's gonna defend you, like that's not a fair trial. Like
And they mentioned
Sure.
that in this movie, right? Like he had a court-appointed attorney
Oh, yeah.
that was just
Yeah.
kind of like cut and dry. Yeah, he did it. I don't
public
give a
defender.
fuck. Public
Yeah.
defenders, they don't
Yeah.
make anything, dude.
Public
They
defenders are so overworked, dude.
Yeah.
Like they have so many cases. I had to get a public defender for some speeding tickets one time. Like he spent like 30 seconds looking at. I mean, it was a speeding. It's not it's not a life or death thing, but like that he probably had like 30, 40 other fucking cases that it's like it's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine like he's just like one of them is a murder. He's like, oh, I've got 14 traffic tickets today, a murder, domestic violence. Like, what the fuck? How do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
That should be because then it's just like, well, that's not fair. Somebody because then it's just at that point it's like who can get a better lawyer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's so funny,
Yeah.
James. You're like, I literally asked him that question. I thought you meant, how do you sleep at night?
How do you sleep in the? He's like with the fan on low, bitch.
He's like very easily next to my stacks of cash. No, I just asked him like, what's
Yeah, how do you
Yeah.
cope
what's
with
like,
that?
what I mean, you obviously you come across people who just did it. They just are guilty.
Yeah.
They were
But I'm
drinking
sure that
and driving,
balances
they were
out
doing this and that.
with like people who are innocent but just can't,
Yeah.
like can't don't have the means to be able to defend themselves or like hire somebody to defend them.
Those public defenders just got out of law school. They have all this debt. They're trying to get like experience. Oh, it's terrible. Terrible. Very, very sad.
So somebody in the chat had a friend who was a defense attorney. He said he wouldn't ask if they did it. Yeah, that would probably help you sleep at night if you didn't have
What
to
if you
know.
did and they're just like, yeah, I did it. And you're like, what do I do now? What the fuck?
Yeah. I would never like look at sometimes I would look at the cases, case studies when I was working corrections. I never really wanted to know what they did because
Really?
you don't want to know that somebody who like killed 5 people is like standing right in front of
Right
you.
behind you.
You just kind of, and that way, I don't know. I never wanted to judge anybody. They did their time. They obviously are out now. Hopefully, they can be part of society. So I never really wanted to know exactly what people did. Sometimes we would though. Just we would make bets at night. Maybe I shouldn't say this. But
Oh my god.
Oh god.
we
You don't
would-
work there anymore. It's fine.
I know, but it's like, isn't it like, what do you call that? Not HIPAA, but for prisoners.
Oh,
What
yeah,
would you call that? I don't know what you'd call.
Yeah,
So
the
we would
privacy
work
thing.
like overnight and would be like, hey, what do you think this guy did? And I was like, he probably did this and that. We'd go pull their file and like read their
Damn.
So
crazy.
yeah,
How often were
sometimes
you right?
you could kind of guess because we worked in a federal facility. So federal is usually like state lines drug trafficking. So like if you
Oh.
ever drug traffic
Mm.
between Arizona and New Mexico, that's like a federal crime. So yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
a lot of it was drug crimes. Yeah.
Yeah, Samantha works with kind of similar to what you did, James, but with like teens. And
Mhm.
like I think she's like required to read kind of their files and like go over all of that just so they're aware of like
Yeah.
what's going on with them. But I
Ugh.
feel like for her, from like what I've heard from her, it helps her get more empathy for them. Like, wow, they've had like this really fucked up life. And like we've talked about that a lot, where it's just like, how could these young girls like how could they be successful after this? Like after going through everything that they had, they didn't have a family, they were like pretty much forced into prostitution. Some of it like there's a lot of like really complex things that goes on, and like it kind of puts things into perspective. Like, yeah, maybe you can understand where they're coming from. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
interesting.
that's a good thing that happens in this movie too. Is like this kid probably had the worst childhood, like all this stuff, and like they bring all that stuff up, and then he grew up in
Yeah.
the slums, and the guy's like, yeah, exactly, like everyone in the slums is fucking trash, and the other guy's just like, well, I grew up in the slums, what the fuck, you know, like all that
Yeah.
different empathy, all the different perspectives of empathy coming in. That shit was
Yeah.
really interesting.
Very interesting. And it's sad that we're still having this conversation today. It's like, what creates criminals? You know, we're
Yeah.
still having this conversation today when there's pretty obvious things like just
Poverty
socioeconomic
is, yeah,
things that
Yeah,
just like your upbringing, all this kind of stuff. I mean, some people are just pieces of shit, right?
yeah,
But
absolutely.
but you're not
but
born that. No one's born that way, you know. Like it's
I don't
something
know, man.
happens.
Some like,
I don't know.
you know, some serial killers and stuff. Like,
Aren't
I don't
most
know. Like, not a lot of
most
them.
of them like abused as children? A lot of serial
I
killers.
wouldn't. Well,
I don't
probably.
know. I
Yeah.
don't really care to ever really
Yeah.
any of them, but
Yeah, it's hard to empathize with, like, you know, those really big serial killers and stuff. But I feel like definitely there's some normal people who like had a relatively normal life and just are deranged and just fucking kill people, do horrible things, you know.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Murder's an interesting one because like the other ones I can have more empathy towards, like if people are like drug crimes or like, you know, even like some burglary things, like it makes more sense to me because it's just like they have nothing like that, and they don't have
Can't
an
eat usually
education.
or
Like they
something.
can't, you know, you can't just say like, oh, we'll just get a job and function in society. Like it doesn't really work that way. So
Yeah.
yeah, very interesting.
Hmm.
So the guy's innocent, not guilty. The 18-year-old in this movie.
I
I think
mean,
I don't know.
And like what's funny is you're almost kind of waiting. I feel like as watching this, you're almost kind of waiting for like the judge to come in and be like, "You guys said not guilty. You guys were right. He's not, you know." But like that's the thing is like there's no one knows. Like
And
there's
Yeah.
no right or wrong.
So
That's what they're there to decide.
there's the scene in the movie when he goes to go wash his face. What's up with those towels that everybody rubs their
Dude,
face on?
what was that?
it's like
It's
a long
gross.
paper towel or something weird.
But
But everyone uses it.
they were like cloth or something, or like they weren't.
It's weird.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
weird.
Anyway,
50s were weird.
side note. One of the dudes is just like, suppose you convince us all that he didn't do it, but he actually did.
Yeah. Oh, and then he like
And that's
hits him.
and
Yeah.
that's like something you have to live with, and you
But
know
like,
what? We'll never fucking know.
But
That's crazy.
that's what I like about the other side of that, where it's like, what if he's not guilty and we're literally just killing this kid for no reason? Like he's going to die if he's guilty. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that weighs more than the opposite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See, and that's like, I feel like probably something of your personality because some people like have the mindset like it's better to have like 100 innocent men in prison than one walk free. You know what I mean? Like maybe not that dramatic,
Right.
but
Yeah.
like I don't know. It's
No,
like what do you do? Because like if you always kind of had that more lenient, like there's a reasonable doubt he didn't, you're going to let murderers away free. Like it's just going to happen. You know what I mean? And like that does happen. Like OJ. You know, if we're saying that he's a murderer.
Yeah.
That's why death penalty is like such a hot topic too. It's like, well, I
Right.
mean, I think Texas is the only one that still doesn't these days.
Are they the only
Texas,
one?
dude.
I don't know.
Hashtag don't mess with Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
It's crazy. It's crazy.
could you
to me.
imagine like killing somebody that didn't do it? Like that's
Oh
that,
yeah.
that's even
That'd be
Well, and
fucked
you
up.
hear those-
Exactly. Yeah.
that's even that. Yeah, that's worse than letting somebody out.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Because like you hear these stories of like man in prison for 17 years finally acquitted based on new DNA like evidence. Like new forensic evidence came out, or like somebody with the same name of him in that city, like who looks similar, like just this crazy shit. It's like, how do you pay somebody back for like 20 years of their life that they've been in
Yeah.
prison for a crime they
It's
didn't commit?
fuck, dude.
It's insane.
It's like a
Actually insane.
it's like a time portal, dude. Like they went in 20 years ago, 20 years later, shit's different.
Yeah.
Like that dude I worked with, the craziest thing
You
that
can
he
look at porn on your phone.
it wasn't, dude, it wasn't even porn on your phone. He was just, his mind was blown that you could play chess on your phone with somebody in the same room, but they're sitting like over there instead of in front of
That's
each other.
fucking
Dude,
wild.
That's
that's
blew his
crazy.
mind. I was like, what? He did 24 years.
Damn.
Jesus.
And
Like,
he
you're
was
That's a
like,
long
what do you
time.
he was
do,
like
dude?
40
Oh.
something. Like he wasn't even old.
Like he was young when he went in. Damn.
His kid is his age, his kid is his age
When he went in.
when he went in.
When he went in? Wow.
Fuck.
That is so wild. So, like, another interesting...
Nader's like, get on with it.
Wow, what a
we
dick.
have been talking about a lot of
Well, no, I mean, that's
lot-
like, that's what I think is really cool about this movie is like, it's so, you can plug it into so many different things. Like, everyone's heard about all these crazy cases.
it's universal. It I think this is a movie that needs to be watched.
Oh, yeah.
by
100%.
everyone, especially if you're an American. I don't know.
It's like, look, the
No,
shitty
no.
system still hasn't changed 70 years later. Wow.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, but also it gives you
It gives you hope, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it changes some people's minds. It makes people appreciate
Think harder
the
about
system a
shit
little
you
bit.
can say, yeah.
You know that
Yeah.
that there are people out there who are going to give their best as a service. Like, you know, people say that it's an honorable thing that you should be
Yeah.
looking forward to serving your fellow man
Mhm.
because you'd rather be judged by 12 than taken out by 6, brother. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe it'll inspire people to think harder when they're on the jury. Jury
Yeah,
stand,
yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
dude, but you know, the attorneys, they play those games. They see what your education is. You have low education, get on that fucking stand because you're not gonna understand shit about this, and you're gonna let my guy walk free. It's the games that they play, dude.
Crazy, yeah.
Crazy.
But,
It's all
yeah,
a
like,
game.
to touch on, like Terrence's point, I don't know. I think this did give me hope because I feel like even today, I feel like if you had like 6 people who were on one side politically and 6 on the other, like in that vacuum of a space that they're in, I feel like maybe minds could be changed. And like maybe I'm alone in thinking that in the 3 of us, but I feel like definitely, like, I don't know, with some of these high profile cases,
I
like,
would hope so. Is what I'll
I
say.
I think so. I think because of what we see on the internet, who we hang out with, I think since we don't hang out with people who have dissenting opinions about certain things, we think that they're all stubborn assholes, and they think
right.
we're all stubborn assholes. But I think at the end of the day, you find that we're all pretty much the same.
Yeah,
you know?
especially in a place like Albuquerque, like I feel like it's a lot more of an like Albuquerque's pretty open compared to a lot of places, I think. So here,
Yeah.
I think it would be okay,
Yeah.
but
Then you
not
have
every
that
place.
crazy Burqueño that's like, damn fool, free him.
Because it's
Kill this fucker.
like what James was saying about, you know, like one side thinks the other side's so stubborn and the other side kind of thing. But I feel like a lot of times, like those are just the loudest people that you hear.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah,
the
that's true.
loudest people who are like so open about it. Like us, like you don't see us like just flaunting our like opinions about everything like so loudly everywhere we go on all of our social, like we're, you know. And I feel like most people aren't like that.
Yeah.
Like most people are,
Yeah.
you know, more like, oh, like, yeah, they're like more reasonable. I think more people are reasonable than we give credit for. We just hear the unreasonable people the loudest.
That's fair.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, at least.
I agree with that.
One other interesting thing that this movie touched on a little bit was eyewitness testimony and how horribly flawed it is. Like, I think we talked about it in a psychology class I took, and it was like people's ability to remember something is like way fucking less than we give credit for.
Yeah.
Like we think like, oh, this person saw this guy murder that other person, but like there's this crazy ass thing with memory where like there's that I don't know if it's a theory or if it's like definite fact where like when you recall something, you're not remembering that event, you're remembering the last time you thought about it. So it's like a memory of a memory, like,
Yeah, and
you
then
know,
when people are very specific about things, like they were in the movie, like trying to say like, oh, at this time and this and this and this, and like when it's that specific, like that's probably not true because no one fucking remembers everything about a
yeah.
specific
And it's
event.
such a hard thing to believe because like your memories are so much your identity, like who you are. So like I've read an article that was just like your childhood memories probably never happened the way that you remember them, like at all. And it's like it's so fucked up to think that. Like think about like some of your oldest memories of like, learning how to ride a bike or like going to see a movie with your dad or like whatever it was. It's like for that to have not really happened in the way that you think it did is kind of like you get into like an existential crisis where like you're like what is any of this then, like
Yep.
if I can't remember things correctly, like such bullshit.
Yeah,
That's why you got
fuck.
to record everything, dude. Go get a GoPro and just keep all of
Dude,
it
like
documented.
all those vloggers, YouTubers we were talking about earlier in the stream. They have their
Yeah,
entire children's lives on the internet.
yeah, that is interesting. That is really interesting.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
so
getting about to an hour. You guys want
yeah,
to?
you guys got anything else on this one?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so.
I think like one other thing that was interesting was like as we're kind of like getting more people to go onto the not guilty side, there's like this like release of tension because like the air conditioner or the fan starts working again, the rain's coming
The
in, like
rain's coming, yeah.
things are like starting to cool off, and that really just
Oh,
helps like bring that vibe like of the tensions are kind of
change.
dropping a little bit,
Yeah,
and like I don't know, just a nice little touch.
yeah,
It
that's
was
cool.
crazy how the rain was so loud.
Hmm.
I don't know if that was like intentional. Like
Had to be, yeah.
you had to like kind of what are they saying? What are they saying? Well,
Yeah,
I watch everything with subtitles, so I
I
don't
me
really
watched
have
this
too,
with
yeah.
subtitles too.
like, yeah.
But yeah. All right, let's
I guess
what?
speaking of memory and shit, did this movie have any music in it? Like, if you
Yeah, it
asked
did.
me, I would have
Little.
been like, no.
It did.
Besides, like, the beginning. Did it? Like, during the movie?
Yeah, in the middle it definitely did. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I think it, and especially when Homeboy's breaking down and he's all pee hearted about his kid,
PPR.
she's all ripping up the
Yeah.
Oh,
like
And
yeah.
some of
not
like the close-up
guilty, and
zooms
like,
and stuff. Yeah, there
and
Damn.
then there's some like music, right? Some like
yeah.
yeah.
See, if you
They
asked
said
me in
There's
a
music.
week, I'd have been like, there's no music in that movie. See?
Who starred in that movie, Taryn? Where were you the night of January 11th?
I don't
oh, I
know.
know, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what was cool. That the whole movies within movies,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
whenever they mention movies in movies,
I wonder
And
if
that
those movies
movie
are real that they mentioned. I don't know.
probably.
had to be.
Probably.
All right. Who wants to rate this thing first?
uh,
I'll go. I feel like I haven't went first in a while.
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. This absolutely a classic. I mean, it's stood the test of time for sure. And the fact that I could watch this at like 17 years old in a classroom and be really interested in it and remember some of the lines, like that line, like you're not really gonna kill me. That whole thing was just fucking just beautifully delivered, and it was just like a perfect gotcha moment. It
Mhm.
was another really cool quote that I wrote down. Whenever you run into it, prejudice always obscures the truth. And like that's such a
That's
fucking
good.
that's such a good quote. And they kind of throw that in there really quickly. It almost feels glossed over, but I'm
Mhm.
sure if you like really pay attention to watch this movie a few times, there's going to be those little snippets of like brilliance in so much of it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The camera work was really good, especially for the time. The acting, I was like blown away. How unique the characters were from one another with giving such little background. The movie is an hour and a half long. Is not long, and you establish 12 different characters so distinctly, which is like just brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliantly fucking done. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely always going to be relevant as long as we continue to have fair trials, quote unquote. So yeah, I don't know. This movie, like James said, I think every American should definitely watch this movie. give them a lot of perspective on things. Um, man, how to rate this one? I think I don't know. I it's a great movie. I feel like disrespectful to go anywhere under a 9. This is like a solid 9 for me.
Okay,
It's a
nice.
work of art. It's awesome. 9 out of 10.
So
Who wants to go next?
I can go. Um, yeah, I guess something that I didn't bring up earlier is like how different all the characters were. It's like I wonder how this movie was kind of not received, but like people watching it in the 50s being like all these different kinds of characters and people relating to each one differently. You know what I mean? Like there's so
Oh
many
yeah.
different kinds. Like there's like the business guys, there's like the manly man guys. There's the one guy with the weird voice, the nerdy guy, you know?
Oh, dude, Piglet. He voices Piglet. Did you know
Really?
that?
That
Yeah,
makes sense, I guess.
the guy with the really
That's
soft voice.
nice.
I forgot to mention that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's something Fieldman or Feed. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
I love that about this movie. Like you're saying, like every character is so fucking unique. Like 12 dudes, no names, no backgrounds, and you know every single one of them and like how they think about things even. Like that's pretty
Yeah, almost
fucking
how they see the
deep.
world. Yeah.
Yeah. And the sports guy bringing up MSG, does that count for the Knicks counter? Take it up. Take it up. Fuck it.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Dude, that I've seen like a decent amount of movies from like the 40s and 50s, and like this is like by far the best acting I think I've seen in any of those. It's honestly insane. Like, I don't know. Besides like the corny dialogue, which is just it,
A time
from
thing.
its time, yeah, but like,
Yeah.
Lasts for seconds. And, like you cringe for like 1 second, and you're like, okay, it's not like that
but it,
bad.
Yeah.
like you were saying, it feels like a play. Like all the conversations are so fucking realistic. Like the way they talk, the shots are so long that people like will stutter and like fuck it. Like the guy, I saw one guy putting his jacket on a thing and he almost dropped the hanger and he was just like putting it on like, but it just kept rolling and they would just keep talking and
Yeah.
it just felt so real. Like every character felt so fucking real,
Yeah.
and like that was like the highlight of the movie for sure. But like I don't know, like I said, I love these little details getting blown up and like, oh shit, what about this and this, and it's adding up to this other
Hmm.
thing. Like if you like that, I recommend Ace Attorney Phoenix Wright games because that is all it is and it's fucking amazing. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
Objection.
Yeah. Yeah, the camera work was really cool. I like that detail that you brought up. I want to watch it again at some point just to like notice that like the wide
Oh, the high angle,
high
wide lens.
angles getting closer
Yeah.
and closer throughout the movie. Like that's so badass, dude.
Yeah, the more people who switch over, like he gets that position of authority. Like it's like now they're looking up to him. Like
Yeah.
he's like
Mhm.
slowly changing everybody.
And yeah, like it makes you like think differently, even though it's like probably super unrealistic, like all the shit that like, you're talking about, like all the little details and stuff. But like
Right.
once you put it all together, it's like that guy has kind of a point, you know? Like, what if he
Mhm.
didn't do it? We're gonna send this guy to fucking die? Like, I don't know. It's such an
Yeah.
interesting concept. Holds up very well. I think it's like an 8.7. I think
Okay.
really good movie, dude. Fucking Scotty, the guy who picked this movie last week on Marbles. He's like,
Hmm.
I'd said I watched the movie, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I picked a boring ass movie." I'm like, "Bro, no, it was so good." He's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
cool."
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, so did you just wake up? And I was like, what? I was like, I just watched the movie.
No, yeah. When he said it last week, I was excited. I was like, yeah, I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
Excited to rewatch it. All right, James.
Um. Yeah, this movie, it's important for sure, and you just know that you just feel it, and just everything is made with like such detail, but it's like they do it so simply, and they
Mhm.
do it in one place, and they bring the tension like so beautifully. It's crazy. Just like the heat, just the one room, and it's just you, 12 men, and you gotta rough it out.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. I don't know how the hell they did it. I don't know how the hell they did 12 different like super distinguished people like in that short of a time. Like it's interesting, and that's why I like drew the parallels between this and theater. Like
Yeah.
in theater, because if you're sitting far away, you don't really get to see the people, the faces up close. You hear them, you hear their voices, you see the costumes. This one you don't really see costumes; they're all wearing basically the same stuff. But it reminds me of theater, just in the sense that like the acting takes over and it just differentiates who's on the stage, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool. But yeah, the camera work, that long shot in the beginning, it was nuts, dude.
So good.
It's nuts, and just all each of the characters coming in and out
Dude, I feel
of
like
the
there was a
scene.
lot of times where I was like, "Has it cut in the last like 2 minutes? Dude, what is
Yeah.
going
Yeah,
on?" It's so cool.
it's long, dude. And you mentioned the stuttering. Like there was one time when Fonda kind of stutters over his words, but it felt like very natural.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It felt very natural. Classic movie. Um, it's weird to rate. It's weird to rate because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's something that's gonna be relevant forever. I think story wise, I think it's a little far fetched. It's not obviously you can't go buy a fucking knife and do
Yeah.
all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, but
But
it's
in the
fun.
moment,
It's
oh god, it's so
yeah,
good.
it's fun. It's fun in the moment. It's almost whodunit esque,
Yeah. A little Hollywood thrown in there.
but without like all the extra theatrics. I'm thinking 8.8 for me.
Okay.
Okay.
8.8 from James.
8.87, I'm gonna guess, is what the average is.
8.83.
Fuck.
Ah,
So
yeah,
8.8. So that brings us 8.3.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Oh wait, 8.83. I'm stupid. Yeah, that's what I said.
Put in the comments what
Damn.
your favorite movie that is basically one setting is, because that's cool shit. Hateful
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eight,
there's
is
a
that
there's a
movie?
few of them, right? There's like
What
a one that's in a phone booth or something. I can't
Dude,
remember what
it's
that's
called
called.
Phone Booth. That movie's
Is
fucking
it?
sick.
Yeah,
dude, it's called.
it's called
What's the
phone.
Tarantino one?
Hateful
Hateful
Eight.
Eight.
I love that goddamn movie, dude. Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. And then I watched that one with Jake Gyllenhaal, which is a remake of another
Oh
one.
yeah, you
Oh,
said that
right,
was
right, right.
basically
Remember, I
a
was
one
telling.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a dispatcher.
911
I thought
dispatch.
it was great. I thought it was cool. I was like, this is the perfect movie to film during COVID because nobody even needs to be there. Like,
Yeah.
Mm,
just set up the cameras, have somebody like press a button, like just
yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal does his thing. It was. I thought it was okay. It was pretty good.
good. All right, so we again rated this an 8.83. Love to know what you guys think about it. Hit us up on any of our socials. Find all of those at filmfumblers.com. Next week, we're going to be taking off for Thanksgiving, so there won't be an episode. But stay tuned to our Instagram. We usually update what movie we're going to be doing next and when. So, yeah, until then, guys, see ya. Cheers.
See you.
Bye-bye.